just about every single deadline has slipped so far in the Brexit negotiations. Britain has been holding firm in its position, saying that it would go for no deal if it couldn't come up with a deal that worked. Some have said that was brinkmanship. Indeed, on both sides, there's been a lot of obstinacy in moving on the key issues, which have included fishing quotas, level playing field, as it's called, which prevents unfair trade advantages, and indeed subsidies. So these are all issues that have been at play in the negotiations, with both sides staying as firm as they could to what they wanted. Some offers being rejected even at the last minute. But it seems that overnight and during this morning, there have been hints that there could be a deal about to be made. We may be on the brink of that deal. And this really is cutting it fine because, of course, this needs to be finalised and then ratified both in the UK and in Europe. And that's no small job because there's 27 member states of the EU. And, of course, in Britain, it has to get through Parliament, has to get through the House of Commons and the House of Lords, which would mean they would need to be recalled around the end of this month, and possibly even the Lords sitting on Christmas Eve in order to get it through there. It does seem, though, that it's worth that final push. Both sides did want a deal, and if they're able to deliver one, then that will be something of a victory, though there will, of course, be the questions of who caved. Both sides will no doubt want to say that they secured some sort of compromise in their own favour, and that will be the sign of a good deal if both sides can do exactly that. So for now, we're waiting for that white smoke to come out of Downing Street. So there is every expectation that there will be a press conference today in which the Prime Minister Boris Johnson will be able to announce what's happened, but that can't take place until he's spoken finally on the phone to Ursula von der Leyen, and that hasn't happened yet as far as we know. So things may have come to an agreement politically, but they then need to be put formally into a legal agreement, which will run into thousands of pages, around 2,000 pages, no doubt. And then, as I said, that will need to be voted on in the House of Commons.
All right. Well, Prime Minister Boris Johnson certainly will want to come back from those talks with some sort of achievement, but he's facing another big problem in Britain, which is the spread of the new mutation of the coronavirus. How is the country handling that?
Indeed, we heard Health Secretary Matthew Hancock yesterday announce that not only was this new variant of COVID-19 that has seen most of the world close its doors to British travellers, but there have been 2 cases discovered as well of a further new variant, one which was connected with South Africa. Both those people are said to be in quarantine, and they had both had contact with South Africans, or people who'd been to South Africa rather, and all of their contacts have been asked to quarantine, and rather unusually, anybody who's been to South Africa in the last few weeks has been asked to quarantine, by which they specified they meant no contact with any other people. So obviously something they're taking seriously. The reason for that is there are fears that not only could this new variant be more transmissible? We're hearing figures like 70 to 77% more transmissible. But also there is the possibility that it could be somewhat immune to the antibodies and therefore possibly to those vaccines which are starting to be rolled out. 500,000 people already having received their first dose of the 2-dose vaccine here in the UK. And it also could be that these new variants affect younger people, under 15s more, which of course will have an enormous effect, especially in relation to children being able to go back to school when the Christmas holidays are over. So certainly the pressure is not off either in terms of COVID-19. And that Tier 4, the extra category of lockdowns, which was introduced just a couple of days ago for people in London and the South East, is going to be extended to millions more people on Boxing Day as soon as Christmas is over, as a reflection of the urgency to try and stop the spread of this new, more transmissible variant of COVID-19.